What is up, Crew Motorfest Racers? It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut. I'm here today with the best way that I know how to farm loot, how to set up your game so farming loot is easy, dusting parts is quick, and how to roll some of the parts efficiently so that way you're getting the most out of your time in the game. So stay with me. There's a lot to unpack here, but I'm going to try to do it as articulate and smoothly as I can. So let's start first with a setting that I think everybody should go and change. So press start, start again, go to options. In options, you're going to go down to accessibility, and then you are going to go to motor, and you're going to go down to convert hold presses. You're going to want to turn convert holds to presses. You're going to want to turn that on. By doing that, instead of having to hold the button to dust your parts, you can just press it once and tap it, and it dusts the parts quite quickly. So make sure you turn that on. That's a really great quality of life feature. Now, I'll talk about dusting parts. Here's what I mean. You need to break down your old parts so that way you can get, they're called spare parts, so you can re-roll your good ones to get the affixes that you like. So go to your vehicles. In this case, I've been grinding out my tier 2 cars, so let me pull up my street tier 2 category, pull out my Supra, and you'll see that I got 15 parts there. I've already got a bunch of stuff rolled. I did unlock a gold part there, which is cool. So anything less than gold, I'm just dusting or breaking into spare parts. And so instead of holding it, I can just now tap the button, which is that setting we just changed. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to get rid of anything that is not a gold part. And then what I'm doing right now is creating spare parts. So you'll see that in the upper right hand corner here, we've got 226,000 spare parts. That's wonderful. I wouldn't ever recommend buying those. If you just play the game, you're going to accumulate plenty. The Crew Motorfest is very generous. There is a lot of spare parts to be had. Whereas in like the Crew 2, they kind of came at a premium, and so did money when it came to rolling your parts. Okay, so now I've dusted everything. I got my spare parts. Let me show you how to roll a part so that way you get the affixes that you want. When you are grinding for parts, you want to get the best quality parts and as many as you can off of each individual race. And I'll show you the good race for that in a moment. But for now that we're in the parts screen, I'm going to click on this brakes part. And then once I've got it equipped or I've got it highlighted, I'll press the back button, which is, it says affix right next to it. So no matter what controller you're on, look and see what button that is. Go ahead and press that. It brings you into this screen. So right now I've got rocket, which is increase air nitro power. We're driving cars, we don't need rocket. And then air intake, which is slipstream distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-roll these two parts so that way I can get Goldfinger and Lucky, because I want to have a better quality part and I want more of them. So I'll just press A. I'll spend $1,500 and 150 parts. Okay, neither one of those is what I want. When you re-roll a part, the middle one is going to be a repeat of what you've got already equipped with a different percentage, and the top one is a new affix that you can equip. So I don't want either of those. So I'm just going to sit there and press the button a bunch until I see a loot box appear, which is what I'm chasing right now. So you'll see that I'm spending money on the top corner and I'm using my parts. And we'll just roll this until we get Goldfinger right there. So now that I've got Goldfinger in this slot, I want to re-roll the other one until I get Lucky. Because if I re-roll Goldfinger and I get a higher percentage or Lucky appears above it, I don't want to have Lucky showing up when I actually want it in the other affix. So I'll re-roll this one until I get Lucky. And I was clicking too fast. Lucky just popped up, so I'll have to wait for it to roll around again. So I just wasted a little bit of money. So maybe go a little slower when you're doing this, you guys. For the sake of the video, I was trying to fly. And there it is. Okay, there's Lucky. So cool. I've got 24.2% there and 5.5% there. It maxes out at 6 on this one, so I'm going to re-roll that one until I see a 6% roll right there. So this is now max roll. I cannot get a better percentage on Goldfinger on this part. And then Lucky, I've got 24.2. I'm going to roll this one until I get a 25.5. There it is, 25.5. So now I've just max rolled this part. I spent about probably 30 grand doing that because I had to roll it a bunch. But now I've got as much probability of getting more parts when I do the race and as much quality increase as possible. So you'll see in the top right hand corner with all of my parts equipped, I have 42% Goldfinger, which is increased loot drop. So I'll get a couple extra parts. And then Lucky is 178.5%. So it'll increase my loot quality. Eventually, I would want to get a full set Let me find it. This one here. This is Loot Digger. Multiply the loot earned by 2. So you get a Loot Digger set, which is each one of your parts has this little circle or octagon symbol around it. If each one of those has that and you get all 7 parts with that, it will enable you to double the loot you get from each event you do. And so I'm still missing a part. My tires, I do have one here in the suspension. I'm got one in the exhaust. I've got one in motor core. I don't have an ECU one yet. I don't have a gearbox one, and I don't have a brake part yet. So I've got about 3 or 4 of the set, but I need to get all of those gold parts to do that. But now that I've max rolled all of my parts right now for that way for Goldfinger and Lucky, I will now go and do the event. The event that I think is the best right now, which seems to be kind of popping up online what people are showing, is in the Electric Odyssey playlist. If you go over here to Electric Odyssey, you need to have already completed all the races in this. So if you haven't done that yet, just grind out this playlist. It only takes about 45 minutes. Doesn't take too long. Go down to the Hummer Express. What this is a delivery mission. So I've now equipped that. I've already got my car kind of outside the event, so I'll drive there to it. Where it's at on the map, you guys, I'll show you really quick just in case anybody has problems with it. It's kind of in the middle of the island. So the Windward Coast is over the Lamborghini playlist. We spawn down here at the Motor Show event, and then if you kind of just go up to the northwest, it's kind of over there in the middle of the island. Alright, so I'm going to go in here to the Hummer event, pull my car up. I've already been doing it in the Supra, but for this, once you've done it, you can pick any car you want. So in this case, I've rolled all of my good parts on my Street Tier 2 car. So that's the car that I'm going to go ahead and equip. I'll select that. Now I'm good to go. For difficulty options, it doesn't allow you to make it harder or easier because there's no AI appointments. It's just a delivery mission. So just don't crash the car. Pretty easy, and it's pretty hard to crash the car. Also, one other thing that you want to turn off in your normal settings, you guys, is you want to turn off rewind and make it so it's just reset. That's really important, and I'll show you why in just a moment. So now that we've got all that set up, I'll do the mission. I don't have nitrous turned on because I wanted a little bit more money, a little bit more XP. We'll have it load in here. We're in our little Supra. You can do this in any car you want, you guys. So monster trucks, rally raid, you name it, we've got it. The only car that I think struggles in this is the Alpha GPs because they do not do so hot in the dirt. You guys do not need to worry about your health. You can have some pretty aggressive crashes and you're still not going to total your car on the way. So what you do is you just pull out, turn right, follow the road like I am now, and just stay on this road. Now you're going to come up to an intersection. You need to at least get onto the highway for a second before you hit the rocks. Right there before you reset. I just pressed Y and reset. That took me way up the road. It's because it's closer to the path. It's kind of a cool little exploit. And then you just stay on your dirt road for a little bit. I kind of hang to the right, miss this tree, and then it puts me right on the road because I'm in a street car. This is much easier to complete if you have an all-wheel drive vehicle. So rather Tier 1, Street Tier 2, anything that's all-wheel drive is going to do a little better in the dirt, make it a little easier. But you just stay on the road, don't follow the yellow line, kind of curve around here to the right, fly off the track here, and just line up yourself with the finish line. Pretty straightforward stuff. I've already done this a handful of times to get my parts. And what's cool about this game is you can just redo the race right after you finish. And so just press Y and do it again. And I will show you guys the route one more time, just so you guys don't have to rewind or do anything. So once you get here, you get your time. It takes about a minute and a half, maybe a little less. A little bit faster if you have nitrous and stuff on. And then once you get to this screen, you can just press triangle or Y depending on what your controller is, and just redo the event, which makes this really snappy. And you're getting between 3 and 6 parts every time you do it, depending on what your rolls look like, and it's pretty efficient. So if you're trying to get a max set, like I say, this is a pretty good way to do it. Now for the planes and the boats, I don't have that honed in yet. I haven't really found a reason for me to roll my planes and boats yet, so that's why I haven't been chasing that. But doing Copium this week, we are using this Supra. But like I say, you can use any car in any of the classes. If you do it in a Street Tier 1, you're going to get Street Tier 1 parts. You do it in a Tier 2, you're going to get Street Tier 2. Coming up across the road, reset there. If you reset sooner than that, it puts you back at the start of the race. So just make sure you're into the intersection before you reset your car. But yeah, Copium this week, we're using the Supra, so I wanted to roll parts on that. That's kind of why I'm driving it. For those of you guys that are new to my channel or maybe don't know what Copium is, it is a weekly series that I host through my Discord and through my email. So basically, we're driving this Toyota Supra on creating a legend, which is the first race in the Lamborghini playlist. You go as fast as you can with any of your parts or any setup you want. So you'll see we just hit that car right there, but that didn't take down hardly any of our health. So like I say, you guys can have a crash. It's not a big deal. But anyway, we're driving the Supra on creating a legend. You run the race, any parts, any tune you want. Take a screenshot at the end. It's got to show your name, your time, what car you drove. You've got to be in the A80 Supra. And then we take all those times and we submit it, put them on a spreadsheet, and then at the end of the week I divide everybody up into splits, and it's just kind of like a little competition we do. It's fun, and it's just a great way to meet others. So even with a crash, we did a 133. It's a pretty good way to get those parts. And overall, just start getting your golds. So if you go through the screen, you progress. Even if you reset early, it still gives you all your parts and your money, you guys. So this is how you go through that. There's a gold part right there. Sweet. There's a front bumper. So we're unlocking all kinds of stuff. And I'll go through and I'll dust all my parts again. And I'll show you also how to turn off rewind and turn it on reset. So I go to my vehicle. We got 9 parts from those 2 runs. That's pretty sturdy. So we already had those. I'll dust that one. I'll dust that one. There's one of the loot digger sets. That's what I'm chasing. Nitro Chemist is also one I'm chasing. So it works pretty good. It's a good way to get dust, or parts to dust, I guess you could say, and then a great way to get your gold parts. So I've only been doing this a few minutes, and I've already got a handful of golds for my street tier 2. So I think that if anybody does this technique, it'll be pretty sturdy. For your options to turn off rewind, you're going to go here, you're going to go to difficulty, you're going to go down to rewind. When that's on, when you hold the rewind button, or Y in this case, it backs you up, right? I have that off, so it just resets the car. So by turning that off, it'll make it so when you get to that intersection, you can reset and you're good to go. Guys, that is my explanation on a good track with any number of the cars. I think Alpha GP is the one that will suffer the most there. It's a very quick way to get parts, and once you roll your parts like I showed you, you're really in good shape. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this helps you out. You have a great rest of your day. See you next time. Bye-bye.